Signs. Hello. Okay, we are here to do your read for mid-January. This may also flow through to a few weeks into February, I'm seeing. Now, I'm kind of in a different position in the office. Now, I've pulled the cards ahead of time. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. So, sometimes when you click on a video, give it a few minutes because we need to directly tune into the energy. I'll wait for people to connect because I'm doing this live. So if you are watching this after the fact, anytime something's connecting in with you, if it directly resonates, do actually look at the astrology as well. Now, I have found with the readings, and especially when I look at other readings, a lot of times when they're naming particular signs, having that wisdom and that knowledge of astrology can also be, it's very similar to a vision, especially if you are vision orientated. You can key point time frames of when these things are going to transpire. Now, I am seeing an energy coming through with you guys that this is related to Aries and Chiron. Also, at a collective level, I'm also tuning into the fact for you guys, fire signs, a lot of themes that are coming through are linking in with the previous eclipse that we've just had. And 9 times out of 10, when you have an eclipse energy, it can kind of linger. It doesn't, automatic situations that transpire won't happen right away. And each zodiac sign will experience the vibration of that eclipse quite uniquely, especially connecting in with your actual birth chart individually. But many of the signs that might have taken a hit quite heavily, and again, it doesn't happen right away in an eclipse. It can be subject matters will play out potentially either side, but then the movement in that area and those subject matters of the transformative state, high love, can take 6 to 12 months. So I have noticed in the last week there has been a shift in frequency. And I do know I'm seeing, especially tuning into reads for February, because I do a bit of work in the background and I have a tune in. I'm seeing a lot of 5s and 7s. Now, both the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, it can be family related, definitely feminine energies. Also, subject matters of kin and parents. And with the Capricorn node, we had the conjunction. We had the Saturn. I've gone brainwave dead now. Okay, so it was Saturn and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn. So the Capricorn frequency was playing out as well. And that is quite a heavy aspect. But yet again, on the collective, you may be actually noticing fire signs that things are directly changing. Now, you've got a really unique read. Now, what we must understand is with readings, it can be a direct energy playing out in your life. It can also be another person. So try as much as possible not to take things personal because they can bounce both sides. It can be a situation directly playing out in your life, another person's mindset, and you're directly observing it, as a fire sign, or it could actually be playing out in your life. So look at it from all angles. You'll know if this directly resonates. But for those of you, collectively, this will resonate for many of us when it comes to our Aries and Chiron placement, especially since the fire energy is coming through in this element. Now, you have 2 cards for crowning energy. There is a stage in that a lot of the community knows in spirituality that if you are very tuned into it, we have ascension symptoms, we can see signs and synchronicities. They do evolve as you progress through your awakening. With this situation, and each time you hit a snag in the road, potentially you can be in your third eye. So it can get to a place where you're really up in your head, and that's really what's coming through in this read. So for many of us, looking at situations, we're trying to comprehend and understand, and it is very similar to manipulating the matrix, but at the same time it's trying to comprehend, and it's really quite a confusing situation. So many of you, the card that's come through for you guys is the 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay, and notice the moon on the card, and these cards have various styles of moons. They are on some cards, they're not on others. But with this card, it's really linking into each moon phase. Okay, so your first card out the door. Now, with this card in reverse, really, it's almost like the situation doesn't quite make sense to you. A situation playing out around you and connected to an environment. It can be a work-related dynamic, a family-related dynamic, and to be quite honest, you're probably going to find it's all of the above. There's slight areas and different situations playing out currently in your life, and you're trying to get a hone in on the map of where you're needing to go, how you can perceive this, hidden information. It's a distorted way of looking at things, and potentially some people, the way they're directly relating to you can be coming across quite distorted, quite not even black and white. Virgo energy can be very in a frequency sense, and this is an analogy. It's not stating, yeah, I will answer questions at the end, So in a sense, it's not a black and white scenario. It's quite complex, this situation playing out at the moment. So either you or the other person is looking at it from okay, this is a really messed up situation. How do we look at this? This is very confusing. Now, the other card you've got coming through, again, I'll place it upright for you to see. It's the Six of Swords. Yep, Six of Swords, Six of Swords. It's in reverse. Now, with this energy in reverse, are you or another person giving away your power in some shape or form? Potentially waiting for another person to take the next move. If you're tuning into an individual and you're really quite concerned about their behavior, it may be due to some trauma that this situation has played out the way it has. And even if you have no part in that or no control over that, because that's a them problem, not a you problem, it's directly coming through in your energy, fire signs. So it can, yes, be playing out for you. But if you're feeling stuck and potentially you're looking at something, it can be you're just merely going through a healing state to try and comprehend a situation that's played out, but you can be looking at it accidentally, quite distorted. That is quite a natural process, as I mentioned, because you're trying to go through the third eye to understand a situation. If this is an external energy, they're doing the same thing. So again, it's linking in with trauma, something, there's something going on here that's not quite working out. It could have caused health implications where it's affected the person. So their perspective and perception, I'm almost feeling Neptunian frequency. And when we tend to have Neptune retrograde, with some of the clients I've worked with, especially in 2017, distorted energy for us due to Chiron, coming through and in the energy. It was where things were coming up, but where we were going back into codependent patterning to actually band-aid a situation because it was so heavy. This situation here playing out can be where the person now has felt quite stuck in bondage, okay? So they're quite stuck, they're up in the head. A situation previous tense has played out to get them to where they are, you or them. And really getting to a point where you're feeling potentially the ball's not in your court to make a decision. Also, in an exhausted state, if you are dealing with another person that is BS, I'll just say, hi, Stefan, and they're looking at things quite distorted, they may be giving their power away. Another energy that is coming through for some of you that are waiting for contact, this person, the way in which, and this can be either side of the fence because it's dual, it's fluid energy coming through. One energy that's being shown to me is there's a potential that this person is wondering whether they even have any power in the direct dynamic after the fact to actually come to you to actually make an offering in any shape or form. Now, this is going to evolve. It's not going to remain the same. It's a mental process in what they're thinking, so it's their crowning energy. Now, the next card they've got is the King of Swords. Now it's upright, which is positive. Again, I'm feeling as though, especially with the moon energy, you might have cropped up in their mind. No, I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling it's a process. This is a process coming through. Okay, so I'll break it down for you, Stefan. Slow down. The frequency coming through is, look, direct communication is necessary. needing to look at this in a different way, but something potentially came up around this time. And again, there is a lot of shadows that, especially people that are quite stuck energetically, they're observing their shadow in full form. This is coming through for a lot of people where it's either you're helping another person see their shadow and it's triggering them, or you're seeing your shadow in another energy. And dual energy, okay? We're all feminine, masculine. We're in our duality. We at times can regress back because we hit a snag in the road. This person really is coming to a place where the situation is getting to D-Day, okay? You know, Ten of Swords is where it's really affecting their health now. It's fatiguing, you know, especially when you know something's not good for you. And you're doing something you're like, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. Now, this can even be a mindset. And especially since the process, it can be negative self-talk. It could be playing a story out in your mind of how you think it's going to be without relevant information, which is directly looking at a situation in a distorted mindset, and feeling as though you have no power. So potentially for some of you, if this does directly relate to you, I'll give you an example. Feeling that because a person hasn't talked to you, that you can't talk to them. Thanks, sweet. All super chats, though, I'll do them at the end, okay? This pain and this connection is causing pain, okay? But it's also the process and what they've gone through in their ascension, in their growth. It can be like a spiritual awakening. This is part of their spiritual process. Now, some souls are old souls, I'm telling you, and they do things the bloody hard way. I actually said that to my partner. I says, you must have been an old soul, because I'm telling you, you do. If I did half the things he did, I don't know who I would have been. I honestly, Stefan, I'll get to that. Come, stop, slow. You're getting ahead of yourself. So this frequency here is the person realizing that they're hurting themselves, okay? The situation is affecting them, the mindset's affecting them, the direct environment's affecting them. This can be you or another person. It's going to go both ways. We always have the mirror, okay? Then they've got the Two of Wands in reverse. Now, the Two of Wands upright is where there's two given choices, you know, looking at things. And again, it's like the box at the bottom of the feet. Now, I've got to read this in reverse because this is the way it's coming through, but I'll hone in on this. It's a bit like opening up Pandora's box. You know, some people aren't able to do that. It's like looking at a situation and thinking, okay, I do have to make a choice. And it's a bit similar to the critical degrees in astrology and what do we call it? As Mark says, there's one with the table, quincunxing. Okay, that's where you got no choice. You're gonna have to turn left. You got to the T section on the road. You can only choose one. You got ticket 1, ticket 2. You can only pick one ticket. You've got to go left or right. And if it's divinely guided, you're going to end up at that same road anyway. But at this point where you are in your journey, there's a left or a right. Some people at that time aren't able to. And I'm synchronistically seeing this coming through in a lot of our lives at the moment, where, especially with the astrology playing out, we're directly having these huge epiphanies as to what the block was. And it can be so subliminal, where potentially, because universe, and I do need to really do, and I've been thinking about this all morning, I've said for a long time that I've wanted to do information videos of how to manifest, different tools that we can actually use that are key to situations and lessons, karmic lessons, etc., which, yes, I'm working on it on one person. With this situation, this person feels that they don't know, like, how to make a choice. Like, the given situation has prevented them from having the ability to do this. And again, every situation that transpires has a lesson in it. Yes, we do need to learn that some things are out of control. Very similar to what I was saying, where If it's a you problem, you can only deal with that. If it's another person's problem, they can only deal with that. And it's really breaking down those codependent patterns. And that's been a massive theme coming up too. These old things are coming up in a lingering sense where potentially we are ahead, but we've just missed that one piece of the puzzle to actually alchemize that whole situation, to actually create the balance. And I think this situation playing out is directly helping all involved to see it from a different angle. Yes, there are blocks in the road. So if they're potentially living in a very toxic way, stuck around toxic people, you or them, it's being removed from you. It's a bit like being put in the naughty corner. Okay, it's like you're missing the point. It's like, and we ask universe for signs all the time, don't we? And we're like, okay, you need to speak clearer. I'm not actually seeing what you're showing me. And it does get to that, you can really go, am I missing the point? Have I missed something here? Because when there's a repetitious pattern going on, especially if it's playing out in your own life and you've thought, look, I've done it differently and I've come to it from different angles, you're going to have the epiphany as to why this has occurred. Because it wasn't anything potentially you. It's two separate frequencies I'm feeling in a sense of a lesson. I'll get down to it. Okay, we've got 5 of Wands in reverse. Again, the moon. Now, in reverse, let me have a look. I think this person is having a reality shift. Now, this can be people, this can be you. This environment is completely a shift in reality. Seeing the truth of the lower frequency of this situation and really being quite cautious. This is for you, all these individuals. Being cautious to the direct environment, assessing the situation. And it's almost like meditation, right? Needing to step back to observe it. You're missing something. There's something here missing. You might be thinking it's about you, it's not. And potentially, yes, it can. It's clarity. That's what I'm hearing. Love of God. I hope it doesn't cut out because now he's calling me on my phone. My twin. Okay, 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Marcus Red. Hope he doesn't call me again. I told him yesterday, I'm live. I'm using my phone today. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Either you or this other person or other energies potentially have been, the give and take has been out of balance. The toxicity potentially has been here, or the environment has been toxic. This is a huge assessment going on. It's like people being removed energetically into hermit mode. You can even be with the person. Sometimes when we say separation, because there are people that watch this channel and they are partnered, and you guys need to know this. Don't get too triggered, okay? Because we can deem separation as very different. It's detachment, right? Because we're all individual energies. Codependency is where we feel we're kind of bound at the sink, right? But automatically we're separate energies. So if you potentially are busy working and that person's potentially busy working, and you've had it's a separate time to be able to meditate upon situations. This energy and perspective of detachment or breakups. It's if a person spiritually is linked with you and it's divinely guided, you're going to be together. But it's energetically upgrading us to look at things from a different perspective. So this is a temporary pause in the walkway. There is a separation in a sense to meditate. And I don't feel a separation going on. I feel more in a mindset. You need to look at it from a different perspective to understand how and where the give and take is. Now, this could be at work. This could be with a partner. This could be with some friendship groups. Definitely with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn. Another area I'm seeing is if you're dealing with a karmic frequency, this frequency could be very toxic. And the give and take is out of balance. An assessment is, no matter what you've done, no matter how you've come to the table, there has been storms, BS, and lack of momentum forward. This could be for you or other individuals, but it is coming through where some of the power is taken from you, because it takes two to tango, right? Sometimes it takes many to tango. There is a mirror coming through here. The next card you got. Death card in reverse. This has gone on too long. This has gone on too long. This person or people know that this situation has gone on too long. So even this week, I have felt a quiet, which on this occasion, I will be honest, I actually don't have a bad feeling about that. I do feel there has been a shift in frequency. For those of you that understand my terminology, the vibration as such, if you can detach from your egoic state, which is your third eye, your meditation and being up in your head, it is very calm. It's like a flat line. For many who have really had their wake-up call, you know, ding, 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 you're like, okay. Endings are inevitable. They're happening every day. The more you work on your ascension and the downloads and your chakras, the purging through the chakras, you realize change is inevitable. Some are nice, some are not. But if the reality is something is meant to come to an end, it is going to come to an end, because nothing ever lasts forever, right? I'll have to give you some of my downloads I've had lately. It's really bizarre. I have been hearing sirens in my head. It's been ridiculous. So, with this situation, this person's in well awareness that this is a very toxic situation. You or them, okay? It's like, it's been going on way too long. Now, it takes two to tango. So how do you resolve that? Are you part of that equation? Don't work too hard, Michelle. Okay, if you're part of the equation, you know, potentially right under your nose is the solution. But we can get scared because we actually directly fear an outcome. And for many of you, if you've moved into that aha epiphany moment, you're like, especially when you've been looping, right? And I don't mean looping, but some of you might be. I mean, we all get there, right? If you have reached a point in your life where you have came to this situations, and you're doing an assessment of your life, and we do that in January. You know, generally we make all these BS arrangements as to, okay, what my New Year's resolution is going to be. I stopped doing that. You can make plans all you like, they change. You still should make plans. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I'm not attached to the outcome because anything can change. If you've come to a situation at various angles, which is very TF, really, you know, twin flames, those of you who that's relevant, this is a general read as to what's coming for fire signs. If in any given situation, if you know you've had to repeat, and you've come to it from different angles, sometimes stepping back and looking at it going, okay, I've tried this, I've tried that, proactive word, I've tried. Was it for you to solve? If there's no solution, right, maybe you weren't the solution in the first place. Maybe, right, you've been a bit too hard on yourself. That potentially there's one thing you haven't tried, and that's allowing it to fix itself. Because potentially what's coming through here, you're thinking, do I need to do something? Okay, this is the crowning energy. This messed up, distorted situation, right? Crowning energy. This could be you or another person, okay? People, places, things. This distorted environment, distorted energy, distorted mindset, looping in thought. How do I do this? What do I do? This card in reverse, trying to get the angle right. Maybe taking the wrong approach to it, psychoanalyzing it, thinking that you need to do something. Okay. What I'm sensing here is if this cycle's been going on and somehow you've been slightly part of it or tried to help it and it hasn't worked out, the delay in it evolving has been the need for, the end of it to come. And it's the outcome is going to. It's been going on too long. I'm going to pull a clarifier. There is going to be a judgment. Okay? Now, this could be a legal situation. This could be you physically making a judgment. They're going to have to come to a resolution with this, especially if it's a them problem. Because, man, come on, they got the Ten of Swords. But again, did you assess the give and take? That is work on our side of the fence we can do. And the more into that you actually understand that something is divinely guided, it is going to be. You don't need to fear it anymore. So you start really looking at your value and you see, if this is the path I was meant to be on, I'm always going to be on that. No one can take that from me, especially in spiritual connections. Separate subject. Some people need to learn lessons in a very separate sense. So, a lot of times when we're growing spiritually, we're in the past. We're retrieving information via source and our past and our ego, the pain body experience. It's not a dirty word, it's a dirty pain, okay? And it's been holding us back. A lot of that was happening around 2012 all the way through 2017. That was fun. Not. You've now reached a point, and look, each person in their spiritual path, and this is how it's so unique, especially operating on YouTube, that you have so many people at different stages of their journey in life that you can compile it in a sense of a process, and each person has their natural process. Look how far you've come, but look at what the repetitious patterns were, right? Because I am feeling, and I thought this morning, a lot of you are in more alignment than you know. But because you're not seeing a result, you're feeling it means, in the mirror sense, you're not in alignment, in a mindset potentially, in a making peace with that belief system, yes. And a belief that the only way you can have things flow is in a dream state in the 5D. How do you get that from the 5D to the 3D? Well, that's where Saturn and Pluto are pretty good for that. They kind of show you. But trusting in the process that endings are an innate way of being. And even if in your egoic mind you feel this bloody thing's gone on forever, it's not going to go on forever. Nothing stays the same. Your energy in your mind, you feel, what do you need to do? Pull the carpet out from under them? Potentially some of you already have to these situations. You may even sense the vibration of danger. You may even be tuning into that, which is actually quite not so good, okay? Not a positive way. In your mindset, if you understand, yes, Something is going to fall down. You intuitively know it. In an empath way, we sometimes wish to help people. Yeah, I was talking to Giggle about that. How to actually tune out of that, especially if you are actually quite spiritual, you will tap into other people's dream states and their oversouls can tap into yours. And that's been happening these few weeks. So yes, I'll give you some tips about that. Now, in a sense, crystal ball, which to me is very telepathic, you're feeling the urgency for this change. You're feeling the dire need for this change. It can be quite frightening. Spiritually, as well, as I mentioned, Aries being in Chiron, it's very much how you see something, how others see it. It's first house placement. Each zodiac sign will have that placed in different areas. But there's the crystal ball inside the tower, and there's the fire. Giggle and I were talking about this. What happens, because I did water signs and air signs. What happens when you mix water and air? You get fire. The next card you got is strength. Now, this is you guys, okay? This is you. This is fire signs. In your mind, you're thinking about this. You potentially could be thinking about the past, of all the hurdles you've been through. You could feel that something has gone full 360 on you and you're not quite knowing what to do from here. Now, this is what I mean by timestamps in reads. Now, strongly what has been coming through has been the Leo moon. Let me see if I can see on the table what date that is. And it's at the critical degree. It's going to be at 20 degrees. It's a full moon. Right, it's a full moon. And it's going to be happening on the 9th of Feb. Something major between now and then can be shifting. And I'll tune into it further. Now, you got then the Queen of Pentacles. You've then got the Knight of Pentacles. This is very much masculine, feminine frequency I'm feeling. But to balance the situation is look at the yin and yang in your life. Don't try and manipulate the situation. If this person is trying to manipulate the situation, you need to be very much on your A game. I'm feeling several energies coming through now. There does feel like there's several individuals here on the table. Let me have a look. Bear with me. I'm feeling a choice between two direct situations. I feel some of you guys are tuning into, how do I put it? I'm seeing guilt. I'm seeing confusion. I'm seeing, okay, do I go left? Do I go right? How do I apply myself? And this could be work and family, obviously, because of the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. What are you fighting for? Really look at what you're fighting for. Anything in a sense of manifestation, you will never have to fight. So if you have that vibration going on, you really need to be looking at that and understand the aspect that while you are tuning into things so heavily, it can directly block it. It's a mental process. Once you detach, it all kind of comes in. That's in anything. That's with relationships. That's with work. That's with getting stuck in a very karmic situation. Even you tuning into that is allowing that vibration to continue. Vibrations are everywhere. This person or you may be trying to take the tactical approach with it. It won't work. It will muck you up. Try not to do that. If you're thinking, okay, do I take a tactical approach here? It won't work. Ultimately speaking, keep your vibration high. There is a choice between two individuals for some of you. Some of you are wondering left or right. They also know that they need to be strong because the way they visually see you is higher. But this could go vice versa. But there is an energy coming through where what you're really wanting to anchor into your life, be it yours or what you're trying to attract, is a dependable individual that can actually move forward. But also, if you're needing something to look a particular way that you can depend on, well, the one thing you can depend on is change constantly. But I'm feeling as though for some of you, you might be fearing that change. It's needing to have a very structure. And that's really Uranus and Taurus. It's, look, I'm needing to have the safety of what I can depend on. The one thing that, as you go through an awakening, you tend to remove assets. You tend to not want assets anymore. You live a very simplistic life. You're happy with peace and quiet. You're happy with the things that are something that you directly created. So if you're seeing a lack frequency in these areas and you're having to make a direct decision on it, don't guilt yourself due to needing to make a decision. But you're assessing the characters of the people in your lives right now. This can be with friends, it can be with work colleagues, and I do feel this large assessment. I also feel you're reflecting back on the last few years and feeling as though this has really been hard work. You may even be confused as to why you're doing some of the things you're doing. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden you decide to change jobs. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden you feel you're going down the wrong path. But and I've been mentioning this in all the reads. It's like you're getting the map out and you're going, I've been there, I've been there, I've been there. Road less traveled. Potentially even a road that you've been down before. Doesn't mean to say you're not going it, but wherever you are in the world, with whatever you're doing, can you turn a leaf over where you're at? Don't run. If you're running, you're actually running from yourself. If you're feeling that you can't make a choice and you're giving your power away, it's again a test and it will come up in a different form. So anything that is resonating on your side of the fence, have a look at it and operate differently. Because what does happen is it comes back around for another cycle, okay? We don't want the wheel. We really don't want the wheel because it does in a karmic sense come back, and I have found that in my own life. So I don't want us to go through that. This family-related dynamic, some of you it's a family-related dynamic and you've had to be strong. I do feel something will come up for many of you connecting to your inner childhood wounds or a direct family environment or children. This can also relate to a karmic for those of you who it's relevant. And again, there's two sun energies on the card. Leo is directly connecting them with the sun, and the Queen of Pentacles has the sun directly behind her. Yes, if you're wondering, is this female thinking of you? Yes. She also is thinking about what you feel she needs to be. And it can go vice versa. This person is the bomb. Okay? They know what they're made of. This is what you're trying to achieve inside your own life, and energetically, this is what this other person can achieve in their life. There is one or the other that is directly motivating, but it's by what you do, not by what you say, by what you are, not by what you need. So it's leading by example. You also will then directly attract that because you are feeling that vibration. Now, the reason, if this is two energies, for instance, we attract what we believe. That's what I'll say. We do attract what we believe. So if you have had no movement in an area, you're attracting it because you believe it. It sounds so basic. But that's where the coaching comes in. Okay, so ultimately, and I'm feeling this to be more a feminine energy. More in a sense of family. Okay, this is Empress. What are you creating? What seed are you planting? There can also be a dynamic coming up when it does come to a choice. So I'll pull one more. What is this energy? What can you depend on? If you believe this person can be this, then they will. Now, when it... Another Leo. 3 bloody Leos. This is strong to do with between now and the full moon in Leo. What you're going to let go of is that belief system. What you're going to get low... You've got to get rid of it. The memory. You've got to let it go. I should have called this video, you've got to let it go. That belief, that scenario... It doesn't mean to say those energies won't come back more positively. If they do, out with the old, in with the new. So is my twin. Anyway, so moving along, you got the Strength card, plus you've got the date of the moon energy. Queen of Pentacles. Put the work in, you're going to get the best out. Be self-reliant. Sun energy behind, another Leo energy. Down here, clarify next to the Empress, Leo. Strength again. Be strong. Look at your inner strength. Yeah. I'm telling you. This is going to have to be a decision, okay? So some of you, this could be relating in with TF. Some of you, this could be relating in with work. It's an overall energy and vibration. But when we look at vibrations, right? I could literally explain various examples of ways this will play out, but it will be playing out in your life in various areas. We have subject matters with astrology that come up, and we also have life scenarios play out in various shapes and forms. This has been a situation that's been going on for a very long time. It's hit the stagnation button. It should have been over and done with, and it is a karmic ending. By you detaching and understanding it's coming to a close, but you're going to have to be strong enough by that point to detach. So there could be a situation that plays out with this individual or individuals, even a karmic energy, around the time of the Leo moon, and it is at the critical degree, so it's going to happen. We also have Juno going into retrograde next month, and it's in Libra, so it's in relationships. If this is a karmic-related dynamic in a contractual sense, in a marriage sense, in a partnership sense, and they're dealing with the karmic, it's going to go. It's a bit like Venus retrograde, except it's going to be in Libra for a year. I thought it was hilarious, actually, because I'm a Libra. Okay, so with this dependability, all comes down to... You saw this situation for what it actually was years ago, whenever that was, neons ago. Okay, but it was taken for granted in any shape or form. This can be where you gave your power away, or it was a false start in general. Does karmic junk rub off on us? I'll explain in a minute. Keep all these questions. Write them down, Stefan. I'm going to have to catch up on several of them. Judgment. When it comes to a manipulative person, playing Mr. or Mrs. Trickster, don't kid yourself. Also, you can smell a rat. Deal with it if you need to. Call it what it is. Make a judgment, okay? This also can be a legality, a situation coming up in a family-related dynamic. To do with an Empress and to do with who they want to be with. And they're gonna have to have the strength. You're gonna have to have the strength for either or. There's 2 stars. There's 2 suns on each head. Having to be strong to move through that. And yet again on the Empress card, there's a moon. Okay, the questions. Karmic frequencies. Let me explain, because I think people are getting far too triggered by karmic frequency. The reality is, in life, it sucks, right? It really sucks. I'll look at this as an egg. This is my little Sensi burner. Think of this as the inside of your body. We have a pain body experience. The head's here, legs are there. Okay, when we're young, we have a pain body experience. And inside, we have something that is to protect us. It's a vibra. I almost call human beings 3 energies. Where you have a pain body experience and you create a protective mechanism. Now, it's like a jar that you've stored all these things in, and some things happen and you have a sensory way of directly relating to it. So In an ascension process, our chakras are very important through our spiritual awakening. And when situations are playing out in your life, be it you're a twin flame, a soul connection, whoever you are, it's all of us as humans are going to go through this. Twins tend to go through that before. People that practice yoga and things to that degree, the same. They go through it quicker. So in a chakra sense, you will have stored wounds connected to the egoic process. These things can actually cause ailments, which if you do research chakras, yes, they do. So inside that, a lot of twins that have codependent patterns or abandonment related issues, it'll be your solar plexus. A lot of people that have addictions and things to that degree, it'll come in your sacral chakra, but there's other things that can play out as well. The planets are directly linked into the chakras, and you do tend to find quite naturally when you have a large pain body experience that has not really been dealt with, you can actually retain weight. You can get ailments as well, similar to diabetes and things to that degree. Asian medicine, modern medicine, we all have different ways of viewing these things. Obviously, if we've got something, we need to go to the doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I'm talking from a spiritual point of view, rather. So as you move through these blockages, you do tend to use the mirror effect on different things. So many of you, because you link in with the information that you get off the internet, with YouTube, it can be with spiritual advisors. The one thing that I've noticed as a synchronistic truth in my life is that energetically, I would question if I was the karmic. Yes and no. Okay, now let me explain. We stored this stuff in here, both you and the other individual, and you and energies in general in your life, because we pick our family before we come, in my mind, from my memory. So we have soul contracts with people. We also have interlinking chakras that are like a family tree above us that are oversouls that link in. So if you have a pain body experience and you've come to this life and you need to transmute that, you'll find that in your life path number. You'll also find that in the nodal energy, which is why I talk about the north node, south node in your chart. And I have noticed for me personally, I'm utilizing the Capricorn frequency, which is what we're supposed to move towards, which is accountability this year and last year. And I've noticed it to be a pattern, and I'm applying them to the direct nodes that my birth chart has to move into that area to be in alignment. So the karmic energy, you will have karma between you, karma between other people. The blockage, though, belongs to you, but you will mirror each other. So no, you're not the karmic. You're your own karmic. We all are our own karmic. We have soul contracts to help trigger that karma frequency through us to pour it out. Does that make sense? So you are actually the key to it. If you want to dissolve karmic frequency by doing the work inside yourself and operating differently, breaking the codependency, doing the inner child wound healing, things to that degree, you can actually ascend quicker, clear the frequency out, be in detachment, attempt to stay in alignment. That's your work. That's your job. Mindset is, if you're in a connection, it smells so nice. If you're in a connection that a lot of people fall into the paradigm of, but because I'm not seeing it, it's not real. And you do really fight the tag. You don't need a tag to know what you are. You know, okay? You know what you know what you know. It doesn't seem to do much, because what was the statement you made before, Stefan? And I'll have to scroll right back. Okay. The statement was you moved to, which is a choice, okay? This is where's the card? We have choices, and it's like the analogy I use on YouTube is your parent tells you you're getting an ice cream if you be good. So you're being bloody good, right? And then the ice cream truck breaks down. So we're quite conditioned that we have to behave a certain way to get an outcome, but not all of us are conditioned that way. So in a mindset, if you're good, you are choosing to be good and you're choosing to do something because you have power, which is solar plexus. You have power, but you also have inner child wounds. We all do. So when we don't get that ice cream, we can then get to a point where we're looking at it and we're thinking, what the hell did I do wrong? It's not about you. You didn't do anything wrong. When we make a choice, sometimes it's because we had an attachment to the outcome. I know, I totally understand. That's why I'm trying to break it down for you, because I've done this myself. So we get angry and we're thinking, but I was right by you. It's because love has many shades of grey. And the thing is, if you ended up with someone else, the same potential could happen. But with this one person movement, it hasn't happened. But the lessons that would be projected towards me from my TF would just show me what my worth was, because I actually didn't believe my worth. So if I at all times was giving but not ever accepting, I was basically being the same as a karmic, because I was being a doormat through my personal actions, not through what he's doing, through my allowing for situations to play out. So it's a bit like saying, I'm going to meet you for dinner. And this is with anyone. And then a person stands you up and they're not there. Now, initially, yes, you might be angry. You have a right to be. A person wasted my time. Okay, I tried. I was open to an experience. Now, I could shift my perspective in that experience and say, well, I'm currently here. Do I pick a meal? I showed up and then not own the reason why and psychoanalyze why that person didn't show up. Well, they've missed out on me. And I'm going to enjoy a bloody good meal. Yes, when you have a spiritual connection, the emotions are way, way deeper, but it's self-mastery. Then you look at it and they ask you again for dinner. It's, again, a choice that you directly choose. And look, there is no shade on giving people chances. There's no shade. But it's, you've got to check in with yourself and see where your frequency is, If you get let down, are you okay with that? And it's acceptance of, yes, shit does happen sometimes. And it's not to say it's that simple with what's going on. But if you can see a person is caught up in other affairs, I had to call myself out on my TF journey that I was getting warning signs, but I was not listening. Just because a person is for you, you may meet them at the wrong time. Right? And there's different stages of purging a situation. So it depends. Are they in a connection? They could be out of that connection and then still trying to deal with the BS of situations. I mean, some people leave connections and they've got paperwork. Some people leave connections and they've got, I feel really bad about that. Some people can leave connections and they've got children directly connected, finances connected. There's various stages of separation. So your mindset is, they've asked me to come here. They're saying some sort of shit that they're stuck in a situation and bloody, bloody, blah. And I'm not trying to be cruel because I've done it myself. That's growth, right? No fairy hat hair. And it's a pain body experience. I'm scared, so I need you to help me. And then you go to help them and they're like, no, I don't want you to help me. Because if the person isn't spiritually ready to move forward, you can say all ifs and buts. If they're not ready to move forward. And that's not a you problem. And you need to just let go of blaming yourself all the time. So if something's not in alignment and you're really frustrated, you're like, this has been taking way too long. You must have other light in your life apart from this person. You must have a job. You must have hobbies. You must have your own tribe. And that was, I had to look at my life and went, wow, my life is needing to be full again. And I was giving and emptying my cup and nobody was filling that bloody cup back up again. Give and take, out of balance. And it was Jen who taught me a very valuable lesson in that, and my twin, plus myself through experiencing something that had been going on for bloody years in various people with me. Not just, and this is what I mean, a lesson and, an egoic block in the chakra is a plain body experience. It's going to come up with different people, not just that direct person. So it'll be a synchronistic pattern out of separate, if wherever you are in life, it's going to be playing out as a repetitious pattern. And so to cut that, you've got to learn it and purge it. So if you're all the time being there for people, listening to their shite, and this can be, could even be other people, right? They're saying, I've had this, I've had that happen, and you're sitting there and you're listening and listening and listening. Where's the give and take? And I mean, the nodes are going in a Gemini, and this is going to be going on very heavily. So lots of information. We have to pause, hear each other out, share. So yes, in a mindset, you may feel you've moved there. Am I okay to articulate it this way, Stefan? Are you all down for this? Because we do know we have observers anyway. Love and light to all, because I've got feminine and masculine in me. So if you've moved towards an area and you feel there's no movement in that situation, don't beat yourself up, number one. You're a TF. It's going to happen, okay? They're going to get to a point that this is ascension symptoms right here. Karmic energies, regardless, people come into our life to teach us lessons. And I'm now talking in layman's terms now of TF, but this is general energy. These situations do teach us lessons. If it's going to be, it's going to be. But you need to look at the mirror. No, that's an excuse for not doing work on self. It is very common at the end, just before reunion, if you've done enough work on yourself, that you will attract a twin. They're not your twin though. You can't move forward with another person's twin. They're not going to stay with you. Your soul contract is not with another person's twin. Your soul contract is with the person that was supposed to be here in this lifetime to teach you, educate you, have a connection with. Because you're not believing Stefan. You're not. Her belief is her belief, but you know why it's triggered you? It's because you feel you might be. I've had clients come to me for readings and they said, this person told me I'm not a TF. And I went, okay, that's interesting. How do I put it? I always deemed myself as psychic, and that's an egoic experience because it's like I never really had anyone else contact me telepathically. And I had a moment where I was in my bedroom, doing my own thing in my own life, in my previous life. I've had many of those previous lives. I'm talking quite legitimately. I've had changing lives all the way through my awakening, separations, relationships, single parent, where I had always had a telepathic connection with my twin flame. Now, I didn't know about twin flames. When I had that situation play out, there was a time where I walked into my bedroom and through the mirror, I heard them shout at me in my head, call me. And I thought, I haven't heard from him in what? The strange thing was I'd never had that happen because I would always directly be channeling their energy. So that had never happened to me. And this would have been 2012, 2014. Roughly. I'm guesstimating here. I noticed though, and I started researching what is this, and I've had to do that through my awakening process a lot because as my gift developed, I talked to Giggle about this morning, it was pretty full on. So I had to get on it right away. So when I did that, I found it to be scrying, apart from the fact I wasn't scrying. So my twin would have been sitting in front of a mirror, thinking about this director's show, because I had a bit of an aha epiphany moment about this yesterday when I had that happen with my sister. So he would have simultaneously been thinking about me at the time, and very shortly after, yes, I did get communication from him, and I just looked at the mirror and I thought, that's unusual. Well, you know where I am, call me. And yeah, sure enough, I did get a phone call. when you have seen signs and synchronicities and you think about them and you get a gut instinct and you feel sick, you're telepathically connected into them. You then get a phone call and you know shit's gone down. There are things that you simply just can't explain. You have dream states with them. You see their name and locations. You can hear a song repeating constantly, and you're not even thinking about them. You're like, literally, it's like the boogeyman creeping up behind you, stalking you. So, yes, anyway, I'll come back shortly and I'll answer some more questions, but I don't want to make this video too long because I've already made it too long now. And I will be back for the Earth sign, and I'll answer a few questions in there too. Let me pull the cards and I'll be back. If you're wanting a reading, you can go to the link below. Hold on to your hats, peeps. Okay, bye.